Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Sarah, and in this video I wanted to give you one final update as to how my craft shows have been going. So if you have been following my YouTube channel, I posted a video not long ago, a few months ago, saying that I was going to be doing craft shows, really giving them my best shot. I announced that I would be at a place called the Big Apple, not New York, but a place in Southern Ontario, a very country bumpkin apple pie. It's got this big, huge, giant apple that you can see from the highway. It's a very touristy spot that people tend to stop in to buy treats and to visit. There's a petting zoo, there's apple pie, there's this apple factory, there's apple goodies, there's a little mini putt, there's all sorts of things. Anyways, I announced that I would be there every weekend on Fridays and Saturdays doing a craft show that they were wanting to host every weekend. So the Big Apple has been hosting a small group of vendors every weekend. We are free to go there Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I only go on Fridays and Saturdays. I'm religious, so I don't go on the Sundays, which I've been told are actually the busiest days. So if you are not religious and you do go on Sundays, you may very well end up doing better in your craft shows than what I have done. But I have stuck to the Fridays and Saturdays, and that has worked really well for me. So I know a lot of you who watch this channel are fellow moms, and so I wanted to update you into how it has been going for me, because some of you have said that you wanted to try selling these, and so I wanted to be kind of my own guinea pig and just see how it goes and give this one final shot. I tried to do Busy Books a few years ago. I was working full-time, I quit, it was way too much for me, but this year I decided to do it my best shot and do these craft shows every weekend. I'm going to be continuing to do craft shows after the Big Apple, but I've been at the Big Apple every weekend all summer since the end of May, and I still have another few weekends that I will be there for. But anyways, I had posted some videos letting you know what I sold, how much I sold in the first weekend that I was there, and then the second weekend and the third weekend, but I haven't really been posting because I've just been really busy. But I basically just wanted to give one final update as to how it went. So in the first couple of weekends that I was there, I did not sell very much. I maybe only sold a few $100s worth on average at the start. Then once summer came, once the kids were out of school, that increased. I ended up selling probably on average about $600 a weekend on Fridays and Saturdays. And then as of recently, over the past few weeks, over the month of August and July, I've been selling about $800 a weekend to about $1,000 a weekend. So on my busiest weekend, I sold just over $1,000, but the few weekends prior, I've sold about $800. So over the past month, I ended up selling about $3,000 worth of product. Now, I don't get to keep all $3,000. Of course, I have to pay for the materials. I have to pay for the cost of the craft show, which craft shows typically are probably $40 to $60 for a regular average craft show. These craft shows at the Big Apple, they let us have a really good deal. It worked out to only paying $15 a day to attend the craft show, so that was really nothing. But as a general rule, I've noticed that I tend to keep about 2/3 of what I sell. So some pages that I make, I hardly make minimum wage per hour as I'm making those particular pages. For reference, I'm in Canada and minimum wage is $15 an hour. But then there are other activity pages where I make double that. I can make $30 an hour. It really just depends on the page and what I'm charging. But I find as a general rule, I seem to be able, like as I'm doing, oops, I just threw an elastic. I need to go be playing with that as I talk. Okay, here we go. So as a general rule, as I figure out what I actually profit each weekend, it seems to be consistent that I tend to be profiting 2/3 of what I actually sell. So I'm gonna just give some rough numbers. I sold about $3,000 worth of product over the past month. That means I made $2,000 this month. Now I always put a disclaimer for what I'm making, that does not include the cost of my sewing machine. It does not include the cost of the Cricut. It does not include, the actual cost of the craft show needs to be deducted from that. And it does not include the cost of my website. So depending on if you are going to try this, and maybe you're going to get a website, maybe you just get a Facebook page, that's up to you. I don't know if you have a sewing machine or a cutting machine, but those would be additional startup expenses if you were to try to do this as well. Now that number all by itself does not give you at home a whole lot of context in terms of trying to figure out, do you want to try to sell these? Because I know a lot of you have messaged me saying you loved making them. I know they're so much fun to make, Busy Books. Also, it's important to know I do not work on these pages full time. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I also am a cleaner for mine and my husband's Airbnb. We are our own cleaners, my husband and I. So I have to do that once or twice a week. That takes up a couple of my days every week. And then 2 of my days every week, I am at the actual craft show all day. And so I don't spend a full 40 hours a week making these activity pages. I imagine I spend somewhere between 20 to 30 hours a week. I anticipate future craft shows being even more successful, actually, especially as we approach the end of the year and we're approaching Christmas and people have got gifts on the brain. But my point is just to give you a little bit of context to understand how much I make and how much versus how much time I'm spending on them. Now, if I do count the time that I am at the craft shows, that's all day, Friday and Saturday. So if I take that into consideration, then yes, I'm probably working close to 40 hours a week on the books. But I don't count my craft show hours as work hours, even though I guess technically we should, but I don't know any craft person who actually does that. Like they don't pay themselves for the hours that they are at the craft show. I know a lot of people who do it and they have a fun time doing it and they love it and they just kind of view that as part of the job. They view it as an opportunity to get themselves out there. They have a lot of fun. They just like that kind of thing. Aside from my craft shows though, I probably spend between 20 to 30 hours a week working on the pages and replenishing them. And then I sell whatever I make at the craft show on that weekend. And again, I do see it growing, but the great thing about this is that I can always scale back if I want to. In terms of the number of sales that I got on average, I would say I would get anywhere between 10 sales, probably on a Friday because Fridays are not as busy, somewhere between 10 sales to 25 sales in a day. On average, I would say that the amount of money that each sale is about $30. In comparison to the other vendors that was there, I don't think that they did necessarily any better or worse than I did. Like no one was selling thousands and thousands and selling out of all their stuff. It was just not super busy, and I would say we were all pretty close in terms of the number of people who visited our table and the number of people who we got our products exposed to, because we're all selling nice stuff and everybody probably, I don't think anyone did any particularly better than I did. Not that you want to compare yourself, but you just want to know for your own context, like, is my stuff selling relative to anyone else's, or did we all suck today? Did like nobody sell anything, or were we all killing it today? So that's just all for your own context and to think about that stuff if you are going to start doing craft shows. I don't want you to feel discouraged if you try to do a craft show and it sucks. The first probably 5 craft shows I ever did were all really sucky and I didn't sell anything and I quit. That was like a few years ago. I just stopped doing it. Well, and they shut down because of COVID stuff, and I'm in Canada and they shut everything down except for the beer store. Overall, I'm really happy with how it's going and how it has gone. I am going to continue growing it. If you are a mom like me and you're thinking of doing this, I hope all of this information helps. Whether you were wanting to do busy books or whether you're just considering starting craft shows, maybe you have another craft that you want to sell at craft fairs. I hope that helps, and I hope that kind of gives you an idea of whether it's worth it to you to get started on that path or whether you're gonna just leave it for now. I did want to say as well, if you are doing business, I wanted to mention as well, I have started a Patreon account with all of the templates that I use. So if you are wanting to do busy books, it's super helpful. I have all of my single-use templates posted for free, not all of them, but a bunch of them. But then I use, when I am creating my pages, I use my own bulk templates where I'm able to cut multiple sets of one page at a time, because when you make these busy books, like if you're just making a single busy book for your child, it takes you forever because you have to make one page and then you have to switch materials and switch, whatever you need and start on the next page. And so it just takes a long time versus if you are making the pages in bulk, you can make 10 copies of one page. So you get all your colors out that you need for that one page, all your materials, you get the pieces cut, you get them sewed, glued, whatever, and it just picks it up the time a lot quicker. And so all of my templates I've made in bulk, and I've designed them so that when I'm working on a page, I can cut out and make multiple copies of that page at once. That is like the only way to do it where it can even be profitable and efficient. So if you're wanting to start this, I definitely just wanted to tell you about the Patreon. It will save you hundreds, if not thousands of hours, honestly, of design time. Designing all of the templates, I've spent so many hours. Oh, that's why I posted them originally on YouTube. When I thought that I was done this, I was like, a few years ago, I designed all of these and now I'm not doing it. So I might as well just post them on YouTube and like let moms make their own little busy books with hot glue. And so I posted them because it's such a waste for those templates to not be used. So I thought I wasn't going to be using them anymore. So I'm like, well, just get them out there in the world so somebody can use them. But I am actually using those templates. I've just tweaked them a little bit so that they're set up and grouped together in bulk. And so that is what is available on my Patreon page. All of my best-selling and most profitable activity pages, I put the templates for them on my Patreon. So I'm hoping to get hundreds uploaded. Right now there's only about a dozen. So every month I'm going to just keep uploading a few more so that we've got, hundreds of different really cute, really profitable, really nice activity pages to just basically upload into your Cricut design space or whatever design software you're using for your cutting machine. Get it uploaded and then cut them. They're just JPEG files. You just adjust it to the size that you need and it cuts them. So if you think that would help you, I just wanted to let you know about that. I'll leave the link for it in the description. And yeah, whether you want that or not, I just wanted to thank you all for all of your support. If you're one of my customers and you found me at the Big Apple, thanks so much for your support. And I'm super grateful for all of the customers and all of the support that I've had because it's allowing me to be able to do this full time. So I'm so happy that I have this opportunity to make these really adorable books and have my own little business creating things locally and handmade here in Canada. I think it's so cool. Now, before I go, I have to say something before I let you go. So I know a lot of you watching this right now are stay-at-home moms. I know that because I know a lot of you found me through the stay-at-home mom Facebook group or the mom Facebook group that I posted in to share my templates, just if you wanted to make a busy book for your child for fun. And so even though I think that you are very capable and you are awesome and you can do all things that you set your mind to, at the same time, as amazing as I think you are and as all the things that I believe that you can do, at the same time, I also really don't at all want to kind of make you feel like, oh, this is so easy and you can do it, no problem. You can just buy all this felt and set up a desk and a sewing machine and oh, it's so easy. And it's actually quite difficult. And I really hate the thought of you wanting to do this and giving it a try as a mother with little children and then being overwhelmed by it and it not working out and you feeling like a failure, because I felt that way before. And I tried to do this a few years ago. If you watched a previous video, I explained this that's the reason why I posted templates on YouTube in the first place. I thought I was done with this. This was way too hard for me 3 or 4 years ago. So I had posted my templates that I had. I posted them for free on YouTube because I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going back to that. It's too much. And so I posted it and shared it. And then this year I decided to change my mind and just try it one last time in a desperate attempt to avoid going out and looking for another job. Because I was laid off from the job that I had. I was a teacher at a private school. And when COVID came, the students could not get visas. They were having a very difficult time getting all their international students to come. And they just didn't need the number of teachers that they had. So I got laid off. And so before I went out to find a new job, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this really hard. But my point is now I'm having success with it and it is working out the way that I want it to, and it will replace a full-time job. And so that's what I wanted. But 3 years ago when I tried this, or 4 years ago, and when my children were obviously 4 years younger than what they are now, I failed at it. I could not do it. I quit. I tried really hard, probably for almost a year. Some people did buy my books, but it was not at all enough and worth the energy of creating a space in my home and taking up my kitchen in my 2-bedroom apartment for the 4 of us. It was not worth all of that effort, all of that space, all of that time, and I just couldn't do it. Going to craft shows on weekends was exhausting. I was working full time. My children were younger than what they are now. And so I just couldn't do it. And so if that turns out to happen with you, that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're a failure. It just means that being a stay-at-home mom, or if you're a working mom as well, it's really hard. And so I've met women who do it. They have their own little side business and they're mothers and they work full time. I don't know how they do it. It's not me. And so if that's not you either, like if you decide you want to give this a try and then it turns out to be too much, that's okay. Don't feel like a failure because it was too much for me too. But it wasn't that I was a failure. It's just that it wasn't the right time for me. And so now my children are old enough where they can wake up in the morning, and often they wake up before me and I don't even know that they're awake. They're old enough, they can make themselves food, they can use the bathroom by themselves. I don't have to potty train them. They can turn on the TV by themselves. They can take out a game and play and color and do all these things, and they don't need me with them all the time, and I don't have to do all those little things that are so kind of draining as a mother. And don't get me wrong, there's other things that are difficult now when you have older children. My children are going to be 8 and 12 this year, so that preteen year comes with its challenges too, but it's just a different set of challenges. And so now I am able to do it and it is working, but I really hate the idea of making you feel or contributing to any mother feeling like they should be trying this because being a stay-at-home mom is not enough. So if you try this little busy book business with me and you find it's too much, or any side business for that matter, that's okay. It may just be the time. You may need to wait a little bit till your children are a little bit older, because yeah, when I first tried, I quit. I couldn't do it. It was only until my children are now older and they can take care of themselves and I'm not working full time that I could actually give this a real shot and see if it works out. So anyways, I just say all that to say that all you mamas out there, you're doing a great job. Okay, thanks so much, you guys. Thanks for watching this video. I will keep you posted and let you know how things continue to go. Mwah! All the love in the world to you, and I will see you in the next video.